So folks, the Fallout franchise has had its name plastered everywhere. There's a show about it, there's a Dave's Hot Chicken combo. I mean, the franchise as a whole is getting a lot of attention right now. And I want to answer that question on whether this IP is worth it going into 2026. The short answer is yes, it absolutely is. I've played Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 on and off. And I think now with all the hype surrounding the franchise, I'm going to go ahead and beat all these games once and for all. I'm actually playing through Fallout 4 right now with mods currently. And if you don't know, there was this Disney movie that came out, a while back called The Rocketeer. And it is set in like 1930s, 1940s, and even has like a 50s vibe to it. And so my character in Fallout 4 mimics that vibe because of the jetpack mod, I guess. The Rocketeer movie and Fallout, they have a lot of similarities because they're both in line with retro futurism. So that's really one beautiful thing I'd say about Fallout 4 is you can download any sort of role-playing mods, any sort of gameplay changing mods, or any sort of additional content mods. And that's the best way I can explain the beauty of Fallout. It is essentially Skyrim, okay? Skyrim is Fallout 4. Oblivion is Fallout New Vegas.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Fallout 4 has those rich RPG elements, open world game design, and the most mods. Fallout New Vegas has the story-rich, narrative-driven game design with impactful, well-developed characters. Now let's say that you're busy and you're not a gamer whatsoever, so you have no time to game. The question becomes, do you watch the show that's on Amazon? Well, that's where things get tough. I will say from what I've seen so far of the show, it simplifies a lot of the factions and it dumbs things down quite a bit. And it makes sense because you can't fit the depth of every single Fallout faction into a TV show. That would literally take forever. So I would say if you wanted to get into Fallout, the best resource would be YouTube itself. Oh, Mr. Cameraman, there's someone. That's how a lot of actors from the TV show were able to prep so well for their roles. They were able to, watch the YouTuber breakdowns and the lore videos. And I could tell you folks, the YouTube videos themselves about the Fallout lore are some of the best entry points into the franchise. I mean, I'll leave those into the description right now, but after watching some of these YouTube videos about the Fallout lore, you will either want to play Fallout or you won't. Mr. Cameraman, protect this perimeter at all costs. I'm playing Fallout 4 right now, and what I've learned so far is insane. Like, get a load of this. After World War II, with the detonation of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, America went fully into the atomic industry. Everything from cars, appliances, weapons, and infrastructure, nuclear fission took over. Okay, America idealism skyrocketed, as did the atomics. But not for long, because after a while, the world ended up running out of these resources. Oil shortages occurred. Energy crises were everywhere. War ensued over resources. Countries in the Middle East were fighting Europe for fuel, land, and power. And then after that, Operation Anchorage happened, where the United States and China had a brutal conflict over Alaska's oil reserves, which the US ended up winning, by the way. But it didn't matter, because every single country stockpiled their nuclear weapons, and pretty soon after that, the bombs fell, and upwards of 750 kiloton bombs were fallen on US soil and everywhere else. And so just to give you an idea, 200 kilotons covers about 22 miles of blast radius. Whoa, Mr. Cameraman. What the? 200 kilotons is 22 miles of blast radius, okay? So imagine 4 times that. That's the amount of bombs that were in Fallout. There's an acronym called MAD, which is Mutually Assured Destruction. There were so many bombs that were detonating that the different country folk thought to themselves, okay, our mission has failed, our country is no longer going to exist, so why don't we just inflict as much pain on the world as possible? That way, if we can't have our own sovereignty, they can't either. That was basically the mission. And every country became mad, okay? Mutually Assured Destruction, okay? And there were so many bombs that detonated that it blacked out the Earth's atmosphere, turning it into an entire wasteland of radioactivity. Every plant, animal, or species was wiped clean and replaced with radioactive ones. Even in the games, you're a vault dweller, so you're like, oh, it's not that bad, right? You're chilling in your vault. No, even as a vault dweller, you can't chill, not even for a moment, because there's this faction called the Enclave, okay? The deep state, Illuminati type faction that knew the bombs were going to fall. They knew everything was going to collapse, okay? So these political elites and these corporations that were the Enclave, you know, while you're hiding in your vault in cryo freeze, they experiment on you and then they kill you, okay? So this faction known as the Enclave essentially believes that since before the fallout, they and only they are the true rightful inheritors of planet Earth. And planet Earth had to go through this cleanup so that in order for them to renew humanity, they can wipe out the old humanity and have themselves placed in as the cleaner, decontaminated, pure humanity. So folks, it's just rich, man. Fallout lore is rich. And it is deep. And it's crazy fun at the same time. I'd say get into the games if you can, but if you have no time for the games, watch some of these YouTube lore videos. And to answer that question, is Fallout worth the hype in 2026? Absolutely, folks. It absolutely is worth every single bone of hype in its body, dude.